Hey everyone, I wanted to share with you guys today the best and my go-to methods for making money while I am AFK in Old School Runescape. If you're like me, you spend a lot of time in this game AFK, whether you're working and have it up in the background, or you're watching YouTube, or looking at your phone. AFKing stuff is a central theme of RuneScape to a lot of players, myself included. I'll go over methods that have both high skill requirements and low skill requirements, and also ones that are dependent on the Grand Exchange market, which we'll get into. To be clear, I consider AFK to be needing to click the screen no more than once every 10 to 20 seconds. I've seen people claiming AFK before when you're clicking the screen once every 2 seconds, and to me that is not something that I want to be doing while I'm occupied with something else. On a side note, if you haven't already, one RuneLite plugin I love to use, particularly while AFKing, is the logout timer here. If you haven't played with this yet, you can turn your idle logout time all the way up to 25 minutes, which, yes, will jack up your time played and make you look like more of a nerd, but it'll save you a lot of headaches. Anyways, let's get into the first method, and if you hear anything you like and will start using yourself, don't be afraid to throw me a like and subscribe. The best and one of the most AFK methods for making a lot of money in Old School RuneScape is making Divine Super Combat Potions. Making Divine Super Combat Potions is simple and repetitive, as you will be combining Super Combat Potions, which you can just buy from the Grand Exchange, with Crystal Dust. You cannot buy Crystal Dust directly, but you can buy Enhanced Crystal Teleport Seeds, which can be exchanged to Amrod and Prif for 150 Crystal Shards, which can then be ground up to Crystal Dust. Currently, the GP per hour for this method is almost 1.6 mil, which is very good for something so easy to do. The real kicker here is the requirements it takes to do this method. Not only do you have to have completed Song of the Elves so that you can access Prif, but you also need 97 herb lore to create the divine potions themselves. The grind to be able to do this method is definitely a lot, but once you can do it, it is very repeatable and easy to do. As you can see here, I only have 90 herb lore myself, so in my example, I am making divine bastion potions, which can still be profitable if you are using your own shards you've gathered. If you have a lot of shards but do not have the level requirement yet, here is a table showing what you can make turning regular potions into divine, again, if using your own shards. If you're someone that is AFK a lot in this game, I would definitely recommend getting your herb lore up so you can start doing this method and making a lot of easy money. Another incredibly common and profitable method while AFK is killing Vyre Sentinels in Darkmire. The reason this method is so popular is because the Vyres have a 1 in 1500 chance at dropping a blood shard, which is currently going for 12.6 mil. While 1 in 1500 may not seem like great odds, the other great thing about this method is that if you have Protect from Melee turned on, you can never take any damage and there is an altar very close by, so you can just keep running to the altar to recharge prayer. The Vyres are also aggressive, so the only time you need to look up to the screen is when you are close to running out of prayer or you want to check the drops on the ground that you are getting. On average, you can expect to make just about a mil an hour using this method. To do this, the only requirements are that you have completed Sins of the Father, so you can get to Darkmire, and have 43 prayer for Protect from Melee. And if you would like to speed up your kills, have high combat stats as well. When doing this method, here is what is recommended on the wiki. This method being shown is the max DPS option. Also noted on the wiki is the less DPS heavy but prayer saving setup, which you can see here. I think I personally prefer the DPS method as you can get more kills, but either work depending on preference. This method has a pretty low barrier to entry, so if you have been looking for a new money-making method, I would definitely give this one a try. The next method I want to talk about is one of my favorite methods as of late, and that is making blood runes at Arceeus. The reason I particularly love this method is because not long ago I got the Sang Staff, and anyone who has used that staff knows it absolutely eats through blood runes, so sometimes I will just save the blood runes I make here and use them on that. But anyways, this method is very AFK as it takes your character a while to mine the dense essence blocks that are needed. Once you have filled your inventory first with a chisel and then these dense essence blocks using your best pickaxe, you run over to the dark altar and click on it. That will turn all your dense essence blocks into dark essence blocks. Then you can use your chisel on the dark essence blocks to turn them into a pile of dark essence fragments. After this, you can go back to mining the dense essence and fill your inventory again. Once full again, repeat the steps of running to the dark altar and clicking it, except this time you will want to run to the blood runic altar, which I show here. Once there, clicking on the blood runic altar will turn the dark essence shards into blood runes. You can then chisel the remaining dark essence blocks into dark essence shards and repeat to turn those into blood runes as well. With 73 agility, you can then take the rock path nearby right back to the dense runestones and repeat the process all over again. In order to do this method, you will need 77 rune crafting, and it is also highly recommended to have the full Guardians of the Rift outfit, as that will maximize the amount of blood runes you'll get. If you do not yet have 77 rune crafting, I would recommend going to play Guardians of the Rift until you're there, so you can kind of knock out two birds with one stone. I would also recommend to buy blood essence when doing this method, as it can give you a 50% chance to make an extra blood rune when doing this method, which far outweighs the price of them at 66k. If you have completed the Corendon Kibo's diary, you will also have a 10% increase in blood runes received. After doing this method, you can expect to make around 715k an hour, which is not bad for something that is very AFK. You can also expect to make around 35k rune crafting, 5k mining, and 5k crafting XP an hour, which again isn't bad for something that you're passively training. I know the 77 rune crafting requirement can be annoying to get to start this one, but it really is worth it to not only be able to make blood runes that you can use, but also be able to sell them for a great profit without much effort. The next two methods I want to talk about are both very dependent on the current prices that are in the Grand Exchange. Let's start with talking about making various unfinished potions. Making unfinished potions is a great and AFK way of making money because most people, myself included, don't want to go through the hassle of combining herbs with empty vials of water, especially since that does not give any herb lore experience. Because of this, you can typically buy herbs and mix them with vials of water and then sell those to make a pretty solid profit. As I mentioned at the beginning, the amount you'll make greatly varies with what the current market is, so it is always a good idea to check the wiki before doing this to see what the most profitable herb is, again, before doing it. As you can see here, as of this moment, making Snapdragon potions is the most profitable with an hourly profit of 888k an hour. Making unfinished potions for the rest of these herbs is also not a bad choice if you do not have the herb lore level yet to make the higher ones. I would also recommend when trying this method to be patient when buying herbs or selling the unfinished potions, as buying too high or selling too low from being impatient can really hurt your bottom line. So yeah, I think this is a really good method, but I would definitely check with the wiki GE prices every time you're about to start doing it, so you know you'll be making the money that you're expecting. Another method that also depends heavily on the GE's current prices, but I feel like is a little less known, is tanning Dragonhides to dragon leather. As it currently stands, the black Dragonhide is the most profitable to do this with an hourly profit of around 840k an hour, but this can also change. The method for this is very simple. You just want to buy a bunch of black Dragonhide and then head to Alcarid. You can then just go from the Alcarid West Bank with a stack of GP and an inventory full of Dragonhide to the tanner, Ellis, that is just north of the bank. Right-click him and select Trade, and then select Tan All, then run back to the bank and restart the process. Similar to the previous method, you want to be careful to not buy the D-Hide high and sell the D-Hide leather low, as this could really hurt your total profit. As it currently stands, here are the current hourly rates of tanning the different types of hides. I would say this method is slightly more click intensive, but there is also no money being lost when just standing AFK for a while. Again, I would always check the prices on the wiki before beginning this method to be sure it is still as profitable as expected. One of my favorite and most mindless methods for AFK money making is the Motherload Mine. I love the Motherload Mine because there is never any pressure or need to focus on it, so in my opinion, it is the ultimate thing you can do just in the background while doing other things. The method also gets more profitable the higher your mining level gets, especially when you reach 85 and are able to get Runite ore, which is worth over 10k each currently. It is also highly recommended to unlock the upper area with 100 golden nuggets as quickly as possible, as the upper area has more ore veins that are closer to each other. The ore veins on the upper level also deplete at a much slower rate than the bottom level ones, allowing yourself to get more pay dirt per click. Not only does this method make you some money, but it also trains your mining in the meantime, which is one of the more annoying skills to train. When doing this method, here is a table that explains how much you can expect to make an hour based off your mining level. As you can see, there is a drastic upturn in profit the higher your mining level is. This table also shows the mining XP you will gain per hour at each range of mining levels. While the GP per hour of this method may be slightly lower than some of the other methods I've talked about, if you are looking for something that is really AFK, I would highly recommend this method. Like I said at the beginning of this video, if you are AFK a lot in this game, I couldn't recommend these methods more. I know for myself, whenever I am working or on YouTube or just doing something else, it's always nice to avoid the GP and XP waste and do something in the background. These methods will give you some consistent ways to make money, even when you are hardly paying attention to the game. If you have any questions or recommendations, please feel free to let me know in the comments. If you like this video and want to see more like it that I will be continuing to put out, please like and subscribe for more content that will be coming out very soon. Thank you for watching, and go make some easy GP.